It was finally happening. I was spending the night in a cemetery with friends. I couldn't believe it. We chose an old cemetery. It was behind an even older church. The moon was full that night. That was scary and beautiful at the same time. The old tombstones looked like teeth. They were sticking out of the ground. The trees cast long and creepy shadows. Everything looked different at night. A chilly breeze whispered through the trees. It sounded like someone was crying. The air felt heavy. It was like the weight of history was pressing down on us. I took a deep breath. I was ready for this adventure. I was with my two best friends, Liam and Maya. Liam loves scary movies. He was so excited to explore the cemetery. Maya was a bit nervous, but she was also curious. She didn't want to miss out on the fun. We each had a backpack. We had snacks, flashlights, and extra batteries. We were prepared for anything, or at least we hoped we were. Liam brought his camera. He wanted to document everything. Maya brought a book of ghost stories. She thought it would add to the spooky atmosphere. I just brought my courage, and maybe a little bit of fear too. We stood at the entrance to the cemetery. We looked at each other. We were all a little scared, but we were also excited. This was going to be a night to remember. We walked deeper into the cemetery. The air grew colder, or maybe it was just our imaginations. We stopped at an old mausoleum. It looked like a small house. It was made of stone. It had a big iron door. Liam wanted to go inside, but Maya and I said no. We spread a blanket on the ground. It was near a big oak tree. We didn't want to be too close to the graves. That felt disrespectful. We sat in a circle. We turned on our flashlights. The beams of light danced across the tombstones. We told jokes and stories. We tried to ignore the creepy noises around us, but it was hard. Every rustle of leaves sounded like footsteps. Every owl hoot sounded like a scream. I could feel my heart beating faster. The wind picked up. It howled through the trees. It sounded like a wild animal. Then we heard it. A twig snapped. It was close by. We all froze. We listened intently. Our breath was caught in our throats. "What was that?" Maya whispered. Her voice was trembling. "Probably just a rabbit," Liam said, but even he didn't sound so sure. We shone our flashlights in the direction of the sound, but we couldn't see anything. We waited for a long time. Everything was quiet, except for the beating of our own hearts. We decided to forget about the noise. We tried to relax again. We told each other stories to distract ourselves. Liam went first. He told us about a scary movie he'd seen. It was about a haunted house. It sounded terrifying. Maya went next. She told us a ghost story from her book. It was about a cemetery that came alive at night. I shivered. It was too real. It was my turn. I told them about the time I thought I saw a ghost in my basement. We laughed. We were trying to scare each other, but mostly we were trying to forget where we were. For a little while, we forgot about the cemetery. We were just three friends. We were hanging out. We were telling stories. It felt normal. Almost. We decided to explore a little. We walked among the tombstones. We read the names and dates. Some of the graves were very old. They were from the 1800s. It made us think about the people buried there. What were their lives like? Suddenly, Liam stopped. He pointed at something. It was a shadow. It was moving across the path in front of us. We all gasped. We froze in our tracks. The shadow moved again. It was getting closer. We gathered our courage. We slowly moved towards the shadow. We held our breath. As we got closer, we realized what it was. It was just a cat. It was walking through the cemetery. We laughed in relief. Our hearts were still pounding in our chests. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the darkness, we knew our adventure was coming to an end. We packed up our things and left the cemetery. We were tired, but we were also exhilarated. We had survived a night in a cemetery. Looking back, I realized the experience wasn't as terrifying as I'd imagined. There were moments of fear, yes, but they were overshadowed by the thrill of the unknown and the camaraderie shared with my friends. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes the scariest things are those we conjure in our minds. Facing our fears, even in a spooky setting like a cemetery, can be an empowering experience. Would I do it again? Maybe. But next time, I'm bringing earplugs. That wind can really howl.